Our final big bonus we deserve is Mark Thomas, who has been out extreme rambling. No mere Land's End to John O Groats, or short walk in the Hindu Kush for him. He's been out in the Middle East and walked the full length of the 750-kilometre separation barrier in the West Bank, and will tell the vivid story of his journey on his new UK tour, which begins in Reading on Tuesday night and ends at the Tricycle Theatre in London on the 28th of May. That makes the walk a bit of a doddle, the tour is.
Yeah, the tour actually does go on beyond that. It's a huge sort of extended tour, so yeah.
Now, a couple of years ago, you exposed the schism between Wiltshire and Oxfordshire on an episode of Ramblings, which you went on with Claire Balding, a walk over the Ridgeway, didn't you?
Yeah, we walked over the Ridgeway, yeah. That was it's a really nice walk, actually. And the Ridgeway is it's an ancient pathway, and it's got sort of Avebury at the end of it, which is really magnificent.
And did you think at that point, do you know where I'm going to go?
Yes,
I think I'm going to up my game and head.
Yeah, I'm going to go rambling in the Middle East. It was a funny old decision to do it. Well, partly it was curiosity because I didn't know enough about it, and partly it was devilment, and partly it's because it's rambling. You know, and it's actually an incredibly beautiful place. And when you think of the Middle East, when you think of the West Bank or Israel, you think of, Jews chucking stones or what have you. And actually, it's full of flowers and the most amazing scenery and hospitality. We used to build in an hour every day for tea and coffee that would be offered by Palestinians and taken into their homes. We used to call it the Palestinian roadblock. Right, the Israelis had checkpoints, the Palestinians had hospitality, and you'd just be fed. I was the only person to do this incredible walk and put on weight because of Palestinian hospitality.
It was the hummus that did it, I guess?
There was lots of hummus. There was a lot of, way too much hummus.
And how did they perceive you then and your mission?
Well, we walked with all sorts of different people. We walked with the UN. We walked with the British consulate. The consular general agreed to come walking with us and was just absolutely because we phoned him up and said, "Would you come for a ramble with us? We're walking the length of the separation barrier." And he just went, "Sounds like a bloody marvellous idea," and came out and was just brilliant. So we walked with people like that. We walked with lots of Palestinians and Israelis, ex-soldiers, ex-PLO folk. And it was just very, very exciting. People were kind of slightly baffled because identity is very important there, and it's colour-coded and it's instant. So if you're an Israeli, you have a blue pass card. If you're West Bank or a Palestinian, you have a green pass card. The number plates on cars, like you have a yellow number plate if you're Israeli, and it's a white and green one if you're from the West Bank. So everything is colour-coded. Everything's, very defined automatically. And if you're a rambler, it's like, what on earth are you doing here? You don't quite fit, which is quite nice. You get a little bit of leeway.
So did you have any kind of, a particular cagoule that marked you out as a kind of a neutral character?
Well, like one of those sort of like news ones, sort of like Kevlar cagoule.
And a bobble hat.
I did actually think of that at one point, of wearing Kevlar with comic written on it instead of press.
You must have had a fair idea of what you were going to find once you got out there. What was the biggest surprise?
Did you not? I genuinely didn't. Because I remember somebody asked me the other day, they said, "Isn't it dangerous to do that kind of thing?" And I said, well, only if you know what you're doing. Actually, if you just sort of bumble in and meet the right people, actually, it's brilliant. And everyone was really friendly there, with the exception of people who threw stones at and tear gassed us. However, it was amazing. What was amazing was you'd find each day there was something far worse or far better than you'd ever expected.
So how come you got the tear gassing and the stone throwing? Take us there.
Oh, God, I can't. It's a flashback. It was like Nam. What happened was there's a demonstration. There's a place called Belain, which is a village which lost 700 acres to the wall, because the wall takes masses of land. Something like 10% of the West Bank land, nearly 10% has gone to the wall. And they went to court and said, we want some of our land back. And they managed to get 250 acres back. They rerouted it. And they have a demonstration there every Friday. And so you get Israelis and Palestinians who demonstrate against the wall there every Friday. And it was just the most bizarre and brilliant demonstration, because you have all these anarchists, Israeli anarchists, who've turned up with tear gas masks ready for the tear gassing. And then you have all the Palestinians who are all the youth, and they're out there. But you also get mums and dads and kids. There was a scout band. Right, I promise you, a Palestinian scout band with drums and bugles that were going to lead everyone to get tear gassed. I remember just saying there going, I hope there's a badge in this. I really hope, you get some little sort of acknowledgement of your actions here. There were clowns, there was all sorts. I remember standing there and this woman just came up behind me and just goes, have you got an onion? I said, what? She was American. She said, have you got an onion? I said, what do I need that for? She goes, when they tear gas you, it feels like you can't breathe, so you need an onion. It makes you realise you can breathe. And I said, well, that's a bit of a sort of myth. And she goes, no, it's not. I read it on the internet. And
As if your eyes weren't watering already?
And so I was like, OK. And I looked around the street and everyone had onions. And people were cutting up onions and giving it to each other. And so I thought, oh, I'd better get some onions. So I went to the shop and there was a run. There was a run on the onions. There was no onions. And so we went up to you go up to the wall, and what happened was, quite remarkably, people got hold of the fence. I don't know why. I mean, people like Desmond Tutu and Jimmy Carter have been and visited this village. It was the 5th anniversary. There's a lot of attention. But actually people pulled the fencing down and ran onto their own land that was denied them. And that's when the tear gassing started.
They've got this incredible area of fine sand, don't they, beside the barrier?
Yeah.
That's supposed to capture people's footprints, the actual shape of the footprints for later identification.
Well, the standard... I mean, there is this thing that quite often people call it a wall. People call it the apartheid wall. Some people call it the barrier. Some people call it the fence. And Israelis quite rightly say, look, this barrier, 5% of it is concrete and the rest is fence. And it's not quite a fence. What they have is the standard format is you get 6 rolls of razor wire, which are 3 at the bottom, 2 in the middle, 1 at the top. Then there's a concrete gully. Then you get this sand trap, which registers any footprints or anyone who's been near the fence. The fence is electronically monitored and sends out signals to the control room. Then there's another sand trap. Then there's a military road which runs the entire length, and it's patrolled by the IDF and the Border Patrol 24 hours a day with watchtowers over it, with a camera range of 6 kilometres. Then there's another gully. Then there's another roll of barbed wire.
So it's not the sort of fence you would creosote?
No, it's not. You couldn't buy it in B&Q. You're absolutely right. It would be quite... Could you help? It's like the sort of like Mark Twain, the Tom Sawyer. Come and Huckleberry Finn. Come and whitewash... Oh, my God.
What did the tear gas feel like?
It does stop you breathing, or it feels like you can't breathe. And actually it does... And I was running... There are these clowns there who are like the situationist insurgent clown army who go and mock the wall and the occupation. They're rather annoying, to be honest.
When aren't clowns?
Well, that's true.
Or terrifying.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right.
Or murderers. I mean,
We had to... The weird thing was I was next to the clown when the tear gassing started, and I had to help him up this hill because he had big shoes on. That was kind of odd.
That was a situation.
Yeah, that is a situation. But your lungs actually sort of they think they can't breathe. And so I was actually holding this clown's hand when I thought I was going to die. I just, oh, God, this is how I'm going to die.
That is really good.
Holding a clown's hand where you think you're actually asphyxiating is
Even clowns are hurting people these days.
Talking of large footwear, I believe that the bill for the walk was 50 grand. You must have had a hell of a pair of walking boots.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, somewhere around there, yes, it was.
So did you have... You paid people as you went along?
Yeah, everyone got paid. All the translators, all the people who walked with us, everyone got paid, because you can't just wander in there and go, show me your misery and I shall go home and profit from it. You can't do that. You have to treat people properly. And so everyone who walked with us were great. And the one thing I found out that was Palestinians don't like Kendal mint cake. Because I took loads of Kendal mint cake, and it's a bar of like sugar mint, and you use it for when you're walking, and it just gives you instant energy.
Just looking at it makes your feelings fall out.
It is gorgeous if you're tired, I think. But everyone got paid, and so we raised money before. Well, I wrote a book about it, which comes out in April, and I used all the money for that and the advance, and we raised money, and people gave us money, and begged a bit.
It does beg the question: what are you going to do next to top this?
To top it?
Yeah.
I'm
not that that's ever an agenda, or maybe it is. You have an element of show business or showmanship to your work.
Of course it's showmanship. You have to have it. There's this amazing bit when we got stopped by the army because we accidentally trespassed onto the wall, and we got surrounded by the Israeli army, and these guys came up and they tapped us on the shoulder and made us turn away from the wall, looking up the hill. I was terrified because we were standing on a road, loads of guns, loads of jeeps, and they're going, turn around, turn around. And so you had to face up this hill, and I very sort of why are you making us do this? Because I started rifling through my memories of amnesty reports. I was going, why are you making us do this? And this soldier tapped me on the shoulder and just went, you see that watchtower? They want to take your photo. Smile for the camera. And you know what? Terrified as I was, 25 years of show business kicks in, and I gave it the cheesiest grin I could manage.
Excellent, Mark. Thanks very much indeed.